Okay, welcome back to the Creekside 411, where I get to interview incredible people on the planet so that we can help you adjust to these changing times of frequency on the planet. And I have Scarlet Ravin with me again. I interviewed Scarlet 3 weeks ago, and we had some potent downloads before, during, and after that interview that you can find on Creekside Healing Village IGTV and also Creekside 411 YouTube channel. And we wanted to pop on again today to talk a bit about what has transpired since we came together in that way. Now, let me go to, gallery view there. In order to help assist you with what it means when you start stepping into your inner weirdness. And which is, you know, for us, like your inner light, your inner unique vibration that is here on this planet for a purpose. What it is to truly find your purpose and be comfortable with sharing that unique frequency with the world around us. So welcome back, Scarlet, best-selling author, international book writer, amazing extraordinaire. She does everything, this woman. I can't even keep up. I'm just amazed and grateful that my orbit and our orbits are kind of like swirling around each other right now, and we're just going through a lot of downloads from each other, and it's been so fun. So thanks for being on this journey with me.
Yeah, girl, thanks for having me again. It's definitely been a transformative experience interacting with you, and your presence has inspired deep awakenings within me in the short amount of time that we've been interacting. And I'm grateful we get to share that with people today, because I really feel like the more we embody our own inner truth, the more it's not going to look like the society around you. And I just want to hold space for that's okay. And that's actually the road less traveled is going to lead you to treasure. So if you step into that road and you're walking down and you don't see anyone around you, it's okay. You know, that's you gathering your light.
And how beautiful it is. You know, I believe all the great minds on the planet have gone through this experience where when they are paving and weaving that new pathway, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because it's very vulnerable to go into that space and know that you're being watched by others and judged, quite frankly. But in that judgment, I think it helps other people unlock the fact that, oh, well, maybe this is okay. The more that people see something over and over again, the more comfortable they become with it. And so yeah, I mean, all of the great minds and all of the great new waves of thought have had to go through that uncomfortable birthing process of vulnerability into their authenticity.
Totally. And I think that there's an illumination that the norm of society has entered into a deep state of mediocrity. And that mediocrity is a dumbing down since we were in elementary school. They wanted us to conform. Unique individual ideas were not received in a bountiful way. And so people like us that carry these unique frequencies, at least my experience was, I thought I was wrong. I thought I wasn't fitting in. And I had this whole perception of what's wrong with me? Why is life so different for me? So my spiritual transformation and my greatest power to regift this planet is stepping into me fully, unapologetically, and really honoring all of the gifts I've been given. And you actually, Melinda, unlocked like a huge gift that I have. When you hurt your foot, like if a friend of mine is hurting, there's such a strong call for me to want to help them. And I'm like, whatever I can do. And I knew that a matrix session would totally serve you. I hadn't done one in years. But just that moment in time of me stepping back into that part of my light, it unlocked that weirdness to come through again in a safe way, because I trust you and I love you. And once I was fully embodying that again, I just had this realization, it is not for me to hold back my gifts from the planet. If I'm calling myself a starseed and a light worker and I have psychic abilities or light working abilities that I'm not utilizing right now on the planet, it's because of fear, number one. And number two, it's time to realize it's because of fear, not because you're doing something wrong, but because it's for you to step through and become stronger and start sharing now. Oh, I think I lost audio for you.
Oh, there we go. I muted myself because I took off my foot boot. And I was funny because I was taking it off right when you were like, and Melinda hurt her foot. I'm like, yep, and it's getting in my way as I'm trying to position myself right now. You know, so similarly for me, the breakthroughs that have come through with you is, I guess for me, my biggest one has been to be able to have someone that's like-minded that I can bounce things off of to feel safe in that container. And so for those watching, I guess that's what I would recommend is, you know, if you feel like you're alone and vulnerable and really wanting to step into more of your truth and what you're here to give, and really step more into that knowing of your inner wisdom, find your people. You know, you can go online and just hashtag whatever it is that calls you, channeling, light worker stuff, starseed stuff. That's the stuff that like I'm really into right now, and we're like diving into dimension stuff. I mean, there's really great topics of pretty good scientific foundations that really can show more of what this reality is that we are experiencing. And if you can find even one person that you can bounce off of, that's a really great way to feel safer and having someone as your backboard to bounce off of. And if you don't have anyone in your world, just DM me. I've got a little network of really awesome humans. And if you share with me what it feels like is coming through for you, then, you know, we can plug you into that network. So yeah, so that's been big for me, is just having someone that, you know, at 1 a.m, I can be like, oh, look at this juicy thing I just found. And then for someone else to be just as excited as me, it's really unique and special. And yeah, I guess so the things that have been popping up for me is freaking dimensions. I mean, we hear about this all the time, right? That there's, 9 dimensions that the humans can go into, but it's not taught in schools, right? It's kind of like we're, like you just said, you know, we're taught to be mediocre, and we're taught to see this life as just really a 2-dimensional kind of thing. And so one thing I've been doing, I've got 2 5-year-olds at home, boy and a girl. And so we're in the quarantine phase of humanity right now, and they're homeschooling with me. And I've been really like having a hard time with the curriculum from the teachers and the schedules from the teachers, and just feeling not as inspired. And it's been hard to get them to focus on it as well. But I realized 2 days ago, oh my God, I can teach my kids what I see as magic and beauty and what reality actually is, and all of the things that I wanted to learn when I was in school, and what I felt weird about, you know, when I was 15 and coming into all of these, you know, all these intuition hits and things, and no one else was really experiencing them. And so I started to close that part off of myself, thinking that I was going insane. And, you know, I want my kids to be raised, since their mind is still growing and understanding what reality is. I want them to really have a broader view so that they can navigate this world in a better way. So The Alchemy of 9 Dimensions is a book I highly recommend. There's also some interviews with her online. She is, been channeling Pleiadian knowledge for the past 40 years, and this book is really built around what she has channeled for all of this time that now is backed by science. So she finally published it once all of the science actually came into play to really hold the structure of it for us left and right-brained people. So that's been a really great thing to play with. And the gene keys, because I love them. I just found them recently through Unify when they did their global meditation. I've been kind of seeing it in my sphere, and then with that global meditation, it was brought up, and I finally dove into it. So it's essentially the I Ching connected with your genetic imprinting, and what that means for how we process our shadow and our light. So a lot of spiritually minded people are always talking about, the shadow and the light, right? But there's never really a good pathway where you can actually go into that work. It's mostly just know your shadow kind of thing, like accept your shadow. But what does that actually mean? And so recently I sent a little ditty over to Scarlet saying like, here's Gene Keys. Are you interested? And she was interested. So why don't you share a bit about what the Gene Keys has been like for you?
Totally. And also circling back to what you said about having a buddy, since we've been kind of playing with each other, I think it was a Sunday, but you sent me the Gaiam TV link to watch Barbara Hancock present the 9 dimensions. And then you also sent me my Gene Key thing, and you sent me one of the printouts to read one of the Gene Keys. So here I am on Sunday, and I'm like, everything Melinda's into, I'm into. So when she sends me something, I'm like, okay, medicine. And I start watching. And as I'm watching these 9 dimensions unfold, I'm feeling confirmation of things I've seen and felt and known. But to have it come through with a scientific background is like what you said, like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, I'm experiencing all these things and it's backed by science. And then when you doubled down and shared the Gene Keys with me too,
Boom!
yeah, like boom is right. So I watched the 9 Dimensions it's 2 shows, 2 1-hour chunks. And then I got into bed with my little printout and I started reading. And it was one of my Gene Keys, and there is the light and the dark side. And what happened for me was I realized how much of my dark side I've actually transmuted into the light, which was I started just patting myself on the back and like loving myself in this deep way and being humble by my own strength to walk through what was a very dark space for me for a very long time. I would say like from age 8 or 9 to 23, super, super dark chunk of time for me. And I moved through that and just every single day committed to coming into more and more of my light. And then I read this portion of it that every part of my energy field that was questioning who I was taking up energy for me to use and was taking up energy for me to be fully embodied in myself. And when I read that Gene Key, what happened was all of those parts of me that were in question totally dissipated, and I got all of that energy back into my system. And I was basically in a state of feeling like I was like electrified, like I had just energy shooting through my body for like 3 or 4 days. I had to run for 20 minutes a day just to I was like, this is big stuff. Like I just released all of this density into my field. So I immediately ordered the Gene Key book. I'm sharing it with everyone. I'm like, check out the Gene Key, get your Gene Key, find out your light, find out your dark, walk through it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I've had a similar experience, but when I read, every time I read a new key, I usually look at the shadow and I'm like, oh, no, like, oh, I've already done that. I've already been there. But then usually the second or third time I read it, I'm like, oh, shit, I'm still doing this in certain ways. And I can unlock now the ways that I'm utilizing this key and transform that into the better way to utilize these different powers and things that we have inside of us. So that's been the way that I've been using it. So the Gene Keys is potent. You can get a free profile done online on the Gene Keys. And you can reach out to people that are proficient in the Gene Keys to go over your profile. I'm just a newbie with it, so I can kind of like help you integrate the energies that are coming into your body. So you can reach out to me for that. But there's people that are actually like, this is what they do. I will someday, I hope. And I want to talk about a huge shift that's happened for me. Is just a few days ago. So I broke my foot on Sunday, and it was like, okay, this is a message that I need to still slow down. And then 2 days later or something, Scarlet offered me this healing session. And I didn't really know what to expect going into it. But I set myself up all cozy like, and we started diving in, and I'm telling you guys, only 2 times in my life have I gone into that deep of medicine work, and one of them was with psychedelics. And this woman here was able to bring in, and it's like obviously she's completely being a hollow channel for messages to come through, and then she's just sharing them as they come through her. And for you to be able to do that, you really have to get yourself out of the way, and you have to not allow any insecurities to come in. You have to truly just trust whatever's coming through is what the person needs. And that's true medicine work. That's what I see in my practice. If I'm working with someone, I have to just trust this point is coming for acupuncture for them for a certain reason. So I want to let the world know that Scarlet is back doing her matrix energetic work. Since our little activation together, she's decided to open it up again to the public. And damn, you should grab it now, because this woman is gold and her prices are very low right now. And it literally like opened up all these dimensions and portals that it was crazy. She was seeing stuff from like my childhood. I mean, it was like a psychic thing, but not just where like a psychic tells you, oh, you are this. It was like, it wasn't just telling you something. It actually was feedback for transforming energies out of your body and bringing you to different planets and stuff. It was amazing. So do you want to share a little bit about your sessions and what people should expect from them and how to contact you?
Yes, I love that. So thank you so much for receiving, because that opened up my world as a healer again in this way. And I studied with Richard Bartlett. He's the one who founded Matrix Energetics for a couple of years. I followed him to Germany, and it was really my whole world for a while. And I was living off doing these readings for people. And it is what you said. It's like, it's very psychic, and I'm looking into your entire lifespan and all of your other lifespans, but it's not just to report, it's to transform. So whatever your intention is in the moment, if you want a physical healing, if you have an emotional block, you have fears, if you want to find out what your destiny is and connect to it, it's really an unlimited amount of things that we can play with in this space. And I haven't been doing these sessions for about 2 years, and I had a download yesterday that was super intentional. And the 2-year break that I had, the morphic field of Matrix Energetics was actually being embedded in my DNA for the presentation in this moment in time for the world. Because what happened, it was major. What happened with Melinda was 100 times more powerful than any session I had ever experienced. And it blew my mind what was coming through and the energy that was coming through. I mean, my body was shaking, my body was crying. When we completed our session and I opened my eyes, the world was totally different. And whatever comes through for the client that I'm working with, it also does the same kind of healing work on me. So I'm going to go through a shift every time I do a session as well. And I was going for a run yesterday, and I was like, why did I really stop doing sessions? Like, what was my thing there? Was it fear? Like, what was going on in that moment? And I just had that huge download that I needed a break to encode it, so that what you said in the beginning, I have to really get out of the way to share it. Now it's like we're one and the same. And I'm not doing Matrix Energetics sessions in hour blocks. I'm actually in this space all the time now. And it's what I've been doing with White Fox Medicine. Mm-hmm. I've been connecting with these other worlds and really utilizing it in a grounded fashion for topicals and tinctures. So it's a beautiful modality to get instant awareness and perspective on what you're going through now, to feel supported, seen, and loved now. And then to be fully empowered in your light body and be supported in your uniqueness. And really, and then like kind of let you go, and you go into the world with these new eyes. And every time we dive deep and really get into the center of what we want to transform for ourselves, we're offering the world so much unconditional love. And it's really good to remember that, like, yes, we're having our own personal experience, but there's a global awakening happening right now. And I feel really strongly about encouraging people, go into your densities now. There's a break in the spokes of our world. We're getting a couple months of downtime with this coronavirus, and it's the perfect opportunity to open up and start working with what hasn't been working.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, this is such a beautiful, beautiful gift that we've been given to really self-reflect and have time to feel all of the new frequencies that have been downloading on the planet for the last 20 years. You know, our earth has been kind of up-leveling, upgrading, but because we've been in this busy mindset, we haven't been able to fully integrate. And so just like a system reboot for the computer, you know, you have to kind of shut down, reset before you can reboot into this new frequency. And it's really important for you to take this time and say, and who am I now? Who do I want to become? What is my purpose? What drives me, without the idea of I'm doing this for money, I'm doing this for this or that. What drives you beyond that, that just fuels your body constantly, where time goes by in your work day and you're like, holy shit, this was actually the most best day ever. That's what I want everyone to be doing, and that's what we're all here to really do. And yeah. I want to, you know, just for the people who are watching this, you know, I've Creekside Healing Village for me is kind of a new rendition of me and my practice. And I just want to thank whoever watches this, because you guys are also the foundation of what has allowed Scarlet and I just, you know, a few weeks ago to go into these new realms. And so your role is also really potent right now as kind of a structure keeper, right? The eye is the observer that is actually watching the atoms focus into something. So yeah, I want to honor you for that. And I really hope that this touches you in a way that can help activate you. And just know that we're here for you as supports as well. And I want to hear everyone's voice with this time and what it actually means for you and what you're receiving from this, because there's just as many drops in the ocean and frequencies and ways that we can all view this elephant, right? That we're all blind to, and we're all just trying to feel reality, and we're all touching a different point of it. And so that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, very, very powerful times for sure. And the more of us that realize that we're perfect just how we are, wherever we are, and the more of us that step into that realization that the external world does not drive our internal world, and we separate from being controlled by societal norms, really, and start stepping in, because what's being birthed right now is not something that's ever been seen. So we can't look to what we've seen in the past to feel safe. It's really about coming into security in the unknown, and knowing that what you don't know is going to happen is going to serve you the highest, and being comfortable with that. And so for me, like, my meditation every day is really about, like, I am comfortable in the unknown. I'm comfortable into walking into the black hole of what's coming towards us and just seeing what's in the cosmos for us, because this 3D world is shifting at such a rapid rate. And for those of us that are on the front lines of transformation, there's new dimensions coming in for us to live with in the 3D. And so, yeah, we can't really look back right now and say, oh, that happened before, so maybe that'll kind of guide me into this. For me, it's all about, like, new, unseen coming through, and then being humble about it, and resting in that place of, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. And another thing I wanted to share about this space and what it's done is I've been way more consistent with taking the tinctures since our chat. And I tell you guys, I I am not experiencing anxiety. Like, I am not experiencing this societal thing that other people are experiencing. And anytime people share with me that they're like spiraled out and they're so anxious and they're seeing doom and gloom, I feel a lot of compassion in my heart. And I like send them the vibration that I hope that they can just step into themselves. And I think beyond what I'm looking at right now, that's helping ground myself into myself, I think the CBDs really have helped me. So the White Fox medicine is amazing. You can find it on Creekside Healing Village on our shop. We're about to do a big discount right now as well, inspired from Scarlet for the coronavirus time. So you can go on there. The ones that I'm taking, I take the Awareness Hawk in the morning. I do the Sammy V tincture. I'm doing the pain remedy right now as well, which isn't on there. It's kind of a secret. But they're amazing. Yeah. Well, I know that you have to go be with your horsey.
Yeah, thank you so much for creating this platform, Melinda. What you're bringing to people with your insight it's changing me. So I'm just grateful for what you've created, and your light is like a ball of fire, and it brings in more light for others, and we need you. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, you never know how you or your message will hit reality around you and people. And am I making a difference? Am I helping anyone? Is this just a self-serving experience? And even if it is, it's given me so much the past few weeks that I'm stoked about it. But I have received a transmission from 2 different people. One is like having spiritual downloads all the time. I heard from someone else. I'm excited to connect with her personally, but another person said, wow, you know, this is really a good platform, what you're doing. So if you have any stuff you want to share about this experience or what you want to hear from this channel, I'm just kind of here trying to be a vessel and bring on amazing people so we can transmute. So anyway, thank you for joining me. You can find her Scarlet Ravin. Is it scarlet.raven?
On ScarletRavin.com. So ScarletRav as in Victor IN.com. And that's my personal website. It'll go through the Matrix energetic sessions and all of the other magical things I do.
She does magical things, guys. I'm just amazed she's in physical form right now. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us again on the Creekside 411. Catch you next week.